you, Debbie, which is the introduction. Radar will spot pandemics. Where is this taking us?
To, I think, something that we all need to be aware of. In the Sunday Times this week, I noticed a tiny, tiny little story that said radar will spot pandemics. So I decided to do a bit more deep diving, and I found another story in another. There we go, in the Mirror. Biothreats radar set up to scan for new pandemic and bioterror alerts facing the UK. Well, what does this actually mean? It means £1.5 billion per year invested into a new UK biological security strategy. Who knew this existed? And this has only just been published in 2023, literally only just been published. So if you go to the forward, you can see that the gentleman in charge is our very own Deputy Prime Minister, Oliver Dowden. Now, this is to basically prepare us for biological threats. What do we do in case of biological threats? And just out of interest, yesterday there was a statement made in the House of Lords on the 12th of June by Baroness Neville Rolfe about the publication of the biological agenda going forward. But let's have a look at the governance of this. And you can see there on screen, it starts off with Parliament, and then you've got the Prime Minister, the lead minister. So there's going to be a minister appointed specifically for biothreats and biosurveillance, because that's what we're talking about. And you can see as the trail goes further down the page, this includes all 4 nations. And it also includes, right at the bottom, very small, so you might have to just zoom in, the National Situation Centre, the National Protective Security Authority, the Defence and Security Agency, and the British Business Bank. Now, the British Business Bank is a government-owned business development bank, which goes with the tagline, start up, scale up, stay ahead. So clearly, we're looking at biosurveillance on a big scale. When we start to look inside the document, it's a big document. We can see where in the UK life sciences is going to be targeted. So freeze the screen for that, because you can see also where clinical research is going and where the phased different trials are going to be going. And on the right, you've got the history of the pandemics, when you can see that the Great Plague was 3 million, that the Black Plague or bubonic death was 200 million we lost. And right at the bottom, COVID-19, 6.8 million globally. So those are the history of pandemics. And I just note again, the word epidemics is very important. Yep. So again, looking into the document, what's the Situation Centre? You know, who's heard of the National Situation Centre?
Debbie,
but there it is. Sorry, can you hear me all right?
Yes, I'm sorry. Just come in there. I was just fascinated by the applied psychology in that graphic, because you had the pyramid shape, including the outbreaks, but of course the historic ones were at the top, and that's where your eye naturally goes to. So you're looking at Black Death or whatever it was. I haven't got it on screen anymore, but essentially your eye is drawn to the worst case. So this is about a fear factor as well. Black Death, yeah, there it is, bubonic plague, 200 million. So the first thing people are going to pick up is what's at the top of the pyramid, not at what is at the bottom. And I think that's deliberate psychology.
Yeah, completely. But I've gone into the documents, and I just want to bring up, the document's huge and it's only just come out. Not a lot of people are talking about this, but this is 1984 super accelerated. So just a couple of case studies to show you within the document. The National Situation Centre, that'll tell you that it was established in 2021 and what it actually does. And then you can freeze the screen there for the biological security strategy, which will tell you that 61% of infectious diseases in humans originate from animals. There's a big clue. But this document is a big document. I'm only literally skimming the surface. Another couple of the I think most concerning case studies is the Sigma collaboration. Now, clearly you can see in this document, it's there for everyone to see. The UK government is working alongside the US Defence Advanced Research Programme Agency, DARPA. to develop and investigate the potential for a network system of sensors to detect the production or release of chemical and biological threats in urban settings and transport hubs. Now, this is going on in London, okay? So that's part of this strategy. Also, you can see there the 100-day mission. We all know about the 100-day mission, right? So we know that if they decide to call a pandemic or an epidemic, they want to accelerate therapeutics, vaccines, and pretty much anything within 100 days. And clearly that gives them the power to do that. But how are they going to do it? Well, we've talked many times on UK Column about wastewater monitoring, haven't we? And we've talked about polio. And that's exactly the way we're looking at this radar. We're all under the radar. We're all on the radar, even your poo. So, of course, here we have a big strategy there for wastewater monitoring. And again, on the right of the screen, you'll see that we go back yet again to genomics, surveillance. The UK is uniquely placed to make a difference. Oh, well, aren't we just? We have a unique population, a global science superpower. The development of new pathogen agnostic environmental detection and surveillance technologies will open up opportunities for the UK to showcase its scientific strengths and attract inward investment. I rest my case, gentlemen. This is all about, in my opinion, surveillance in the UK, starting now, immediately. So something to keep our eyes literally on their radar.
Can we just add and emphasize the fear factor? Because, of course, the thing is driven into the public mind with fear. We're all going to die of something horrible in the future. But yeah, quite incredible that we've got this immense surveillance network coming. On the other hand, we're told that if June Rain and the MHRA team do their best, we needn't worry about our health because they're going to have us vaccinated so we won't get any diseases. So this is extraordinary. One hand, the other hand, what's going on here? It's a big game, it seems to me.
Yeah, well, it's surveillance. I mean, they're watching. I always say medical devices, for example, they're not medical devices, they're spy devices. These are all spies within you. We're people that are wearing smart devices, medical devices for diabetes. These are spies. This is gathering data. This is surveillance. We have to remember the UK is the second most surveyed country in the world after China, I believe. So this is where we're going. We are a test bed for surveillance.
In order, I'm sorry, just to force the point, in order to attract inward investment. So whatever they say in these documents, ultimately this is a money-making scam.
Yeah, of course, 100%. And you can see it quite clearly at the bottom there. Who'd heard of the British Business Bank? I'll come on to that on another news, but that's a whole new subject. Start up, scale up, stay ahead. We've got all of this money to throw into like ARIA, these weirdos and eccentrics at Dominic Cummings, throwing money at all of these crazy ideas. And all of it is just to track us and survey us and know what we're doing and invade our privacy.
Yeah.
So on Friday's news program, Debbie, I'm going to be talking about the fact that the US intelligence agencies are spending huge quantities of money buying up data from private companies, health companies, social media companies, a whole raft of different companies in the United States. Of course, the UK already has the legislation to sort of permit that kind of thing over here as well, and I'll give examples of that. But the AI agenda, the reason that Britain is pushing so hard on the AI agenda, if you remember, we reported a few days ago that, or last week, that we are about to host a big conference on how to make AI safe, because there's so much data being collected at the moment that there's no possibility of human beings actually processing it. So they need to develop the machine learning and what they're calling AI in order to process this and get useful information out of it for them. So we'll be talking about a bit more about that on Friday.
And we can just see this slipping sideways into Sheffield University for the government's policy. So we've seen the plan on paper. Where's it going to be developed and enacted, put into practice? That'll drift in through the team of leaders, the thought leaders at Sheffield University.
Okay, Debbie, let's